Doug Lehman breaking it down in layman's terms. I got a special guest today, Darryl Prale. He's the Chief Revenue Officer over at VanillaSoft. Now, he's a big advocate for content marketing, personal branding. He's an executive at all levels from sales, marketing. He's currently the Chief Revenue Officer trying to gain revenue attainment, market share, and do a lot of great things. Plus, he's got an awesome podcast, Inside Sales. Without no further ado, the man from the Great White North, Darryl Prale. Welcome to Layman's Terms.
Dude, that was an awesome intro. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure, and we get to see each other again virtually. Now, Darryl, I got to ask you, VanillaSoft, sales engagement software, a lot of platforms out there. What's your niche? How are you guys different?
Yeah, so sales engagement, it's all about helping your reps make more outreach attempts across more channels with a nice, consistent playbook. That's what we do. How we differ from the competition is we just have a different lane. It's as simple as that. We are used by those SMB folks who are in traditional real world industries like insurance, finance, healthcare, higher education, fundraising. That's where we hang out, my friend.
Well, that's where you hang out. But one thing about your level and bringing out great customer service, customer experience, and retaining revenue, I mean, your job as Chief Revenue Officer is to expand that market share as well, reduce those costs. So how are you gaining market share? I know you have a big ploy in content marketing. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So for those watching this, you can hopefully relate to this. Every single category, every single industry seems to always have two leaders, Coke and Pepsi, GM and Ford. And so if you're not one of those two, it's always hard to compete. And then when those leaders have so much more money than you because they've gone to the VCs, what do? We were in that boat. And so what we did was a three-pronged attack. Number one, we just made content, and more content everywhere. And that was really successful. Lots of shares, lots of pickups, lots of word of mouth referrals. It got the word out there. Great for SEO, get the inbound traffic going on. Number two, what we did was we focused on branding. So what you see from us is we're big users of video. We didn't have a spokesperson. No one wanted to step up to the plate. So I took on that role. So you'll see my face everywhere, whether it's on videos on our site, on videos on other people's site, like on layman's terms, whether it's on social media, or it's us doing the speaking circuit on various events. And then finally, the last thing we did was we broadened our reach by leveraging influencers. So influencer marketing, where we physically made sure that we engaged and had some nice contentious, reality TV kind of engagements with these folks. And then their audience would tune in to see what was going to go on. Maybe it's a big debate. Maybe we disagree with each other. Using the influencers, because they trust the influencer and the influencer had us on the show, by extension, we get their trust factor. You trust the influencer, you trust who they hang with. They're hanging with us. And that got us a reach that we can never get otherwise. So that's what we did. Content, branding, and influencer marketing.
Great plan, great strategy. You're out there expanding the reach, but VanillaSoft is out there. I see you sponsoring events. You're sponsoring all kinds of events, whether they're virtual or face-to-face events. And speaking of content marketing, you've got a dynamic podcast, and I'm going to try to say it right. It's Inside Sales.
No, you're close though. You got to have a lower attitude. We like to say it's Inside Sales. And really, it's a fantastic podcast targeting the sales development professional, not targeting the sales leader or the sales executive. We do not talk vision or strategy or budgets or how to make your staff love you. We talk how to sell, meat and potatoes to selling, so that you're 1% marginally better. The show lasts less than 30 minutes. We bring in the industry's best. We have a lot of fun. We trash talk. We go off on tangents. We laugh. But at the end of the day, you're a little bit smarter. It's no nonsense. You should check it out.
As an active listener of this show, you've had 100 plus episodes. And I encourage our audience, if you haven't checked out VanillaSoft, Darryl's content, especially his podcast, please do so. Darryl, do you have any quick parting shots today?
The only parting shot I have, man, is if I were to give myself, my 20-year-old self some advice, I could ask that a lot. What would it be? And it's this. It's take a risk. All right. Two things will happen. Take a risk. Either one, you will fail, in which case you learn a lot. And no one else has the knowledge that you learn from failing, which means you won't make that mistake again. And in fact, you might learn something you can use to your advantage. And that's okay. And the second thing is you might succeed, in which case you're going to leapfrog yourself. The biggest thing that holds us back is our insecurities. We doubt ourselves. Don't do it, man. Trust your gut, manage expectations, make sure every risk is controlled, but take a risk.
I love it, Darryl. I want to thank you for coming on the show in layman's terms. I want to thank you out there for social watching. Definitely check out VanillaSoft and the fine content that Darryl Praill is putting out. Thank you.